again, giving kudos to the dispatchers. They really do a good job of coming together and having those conversations with one another.
Prom season is coming fast, and Inspire Couture in Glenwood has the dress that feels like you. From sleek and modern to bold and unforgettable, every gown is handpicked to help you shine. Find your perfect fit, feel confident, and make prom night one to remember. Only at Inspire Couture. Hi, welcome back to Mills County Roots. I'm Carlene Hall, and I am here in Mills County with the Director of Emergency Management, who is also the Director of Emergency Telecommunications here in the county. And we're also here with Dawn Christensen, who is the lead dispatcher. So it is, you know what, I was going to try to say this, the celebration of this week, but I am going to defer that over to you,
Nope.
Travis.
Absolutely. It is a National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week, and again, nationwide. So here, during this week, we like to try and not only bring recognition to the folks that perform the function, but also awareness, to the position and some of the challenges, that they face, and that it's a select few, that can really perform the function and do all the things, that we ask them to do at a very high level, and just say, hey, us as a community, you guys are incredible. Without you, a lot of this world on the public safety side, couldn't spin. I think all of us, we look at situations or incidents out in the field and we see law, fire, EMS. But again, a lot of those folks and all the great work that they do, they couldn't do that without 911. And it's just one of those weeks to say, hey, we see you. We know you exist. You guys are incredible at what you do.
Because Mills County is largely rural, uh, the the beginning of 911 in this area started very challenged, but they had to rename a lot of roads in the county and give them numbers and give those 911 addresses. You see those green.
Green and blue,
Yes,
absolutely.
you see
Yeah,
those out, and that's what those are for.
absolutely.
Those are for 911 dispatching, so everybody knows where that's at. I remember when that first started, so.
Yep.
um,
All of that information
Yeah.
comes directly into the PSAP.
mhm.
And there's a couple, well, I shouldn't even say a couple, more than one information source that, my folks, Dawn, all the dispatchers, they're juggling at all times to try and get the most correct address and location points to ensure that we can get first responders and public safety folks out to you.
Yeah, let's take a moment to kind of give some special instructions to people who live in the rural places to take note of that 911 address and always have that handy. A lot of people like myself in an emergency situation, those details get hijacked from your mind when your adrenaline goes up and that. So what do you suggest for people? Put it on the refrigerator or just memorize it? Sometimes even memorization. What would be your suggestion to the general public to help you help them?
I'll answer a little bit of this, and then I think Dawn's expertise, on her call handling over, her time
Okay.
would give better insight to this. But try to be as situationally aware, of where you are at all times. So not only your own, place of residence, but if you're headed to Glenwood or out to Silver City, of the roads that you're on, the certain points along the way. If you just crossed 275th and Gaston, of, oh well, I'm in this general direction. So I I think, again, just being as situational aware as possible, and if make sure you're communicating to your little people, your kids and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. So, because my folks, they're going to absolutely ask the question.
Yeah, okay, great. So Dawn, expand on that a little bit about being in a call and trying to figure out where someone is.
Sure. To expand on what he had said, absolutely put it on your fridge for the little people, your address. Also, if you have a babysitter over, and they
Good
need to
point.
call 911.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. They have that address right there on the fridge and they know exactly where they are. A lot of times people will be a guest in your home and they don't know the address, and
Mm.
somebody in the residence has an emergency and they're like, I'm not from here, I don't know what the address is. If it is on your fridge and well displayed, that's very helpful. To expand on what he has also said, know where you are or what you just passed, what road you just passed. Also, it's very helpful to know if you're going east, west,
Mm.
north, south.
Mhm.
That's something that escapes a lot of people, and they're not quite sure which way they're going. A lot of cars have GPS now and directional
Mhm.
that tell you where you're going and what direction you're traveling.
Sure.
So access that as well. Um, so if you call 911, it's easier for us to be able to locate, but not always possible for us to locate you.
Okay.
So you knowing where you are, I can fact check that against what my systems are telling me, and if that is correct, and I can get units sent there.
Mhm.
But if you're telling me I'm here, but your location is showing me somewhere else,
Mm.
then I've got to spend more time trying to figure out which one is correct.
Sure. Yeah. And past the old Bradley place doesn't work.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I know there's places that are gone that people still say, out there by past the old Bradley place, or
Yep. We get old 275,
Yeah.
Green Hill Farms, and there's a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
when we go through the training program and onboarding new folks, uh, of course, we train them on what it says today, the address points, the roads, but there are
Sure.
some of those things like, hey, you could get this.
Yeah.
It's just folks that have been around for decades, kind of just call that. So in our mind, it needs to register as such.
Very challenging.
It can
Very
be.
challenging, especially in a rural setting with all of the gravel roads and the level B roads and the different things that are in the county. And if you're dealing with somebody that's trying to get a hold of you for a tractor rollover or something,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's a tough,
Or just in the field.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
in the field where.
Yep.
Yeah, right,
Yep.
Yeah.
right. What are the section roads? Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's,
absolutely.
yeah, very important so if you're a farmer and you're out there on the farm, know your section roads around you and know if you're on the northeast side, northwest side, and
Absolutely.
hopefully in an emergency situation, you're able to access your phone, and now the tractors have GPS, so you can check that too, can't you?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So a lot of that, or the combines, or different things.
Incredible
So
technology. Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So these technology is here, and
Most certainly.
yes, and this service uses technology to its fullest. Yeah, so that's
It seems to continually be evolving. There are so many different information sources, that we're utilizing and accessing every single day. Whether it's to triangulate a call, right, to
Mhm.
get a better location of where you're at, or our radio infrastructure. It could also be first responders of who has said, "Hey, we're coming to the scene," which can then shorten timeframes for us, and dispatching maybe additional resources. Well, we've only got two coming from this department. Maybe we do need to get a second or third department rolling, that type of thing. So it's awareness for Mills County 911, and I think all 911 throughout the country, is that it is not just answering the 911 phone call. The multitasking is just, and the ability these folks have is just incredible to try and take information in, process it, and kick it out. Really, all at the same. It's
Oh
it's
my
incredible.
gosh,
Just so impressive.
logic, instinct, knowledge,
Absolutely.
practice,
Mhm.
so many things.
Yeah.
The ability to stay calm
Mhm.
in those situations when you're trying to help someone, um, that's just stellar. I'm so amazed. At a different time in my life, I served as an EMTD on an ambulance, and I know that, you're hurrying to get where you're going, you're hurrying to get to the squad, or you're hurrying to get, and you got to be thinking about safety the whole time when that's going on as well. So anyway, I deeply appreciate everything you do. So Dawn, let's just give an overview of a typical day you would have that's just an average, not a busy, not a slow, just say an average day, and how does that look in your world?
Well, there's a lot that goes into just dispatching. A lot of things that people don't realize that we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're not hearing radio traffic, this is something that a lot of public don't realize, and even my responders, if you're not hearing it on the radio, it doesn't mean that we are not really, really busy. We answer all the admin calls that come in for the sheriff's office, for
Mm.
the police department, for other departments because people don't know who else to call.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of questions on, I need a weapons permit. I need to speak to the jail. I need to know how to get my driver's license taken care of. And they call us because they don't know whom else to call.
Okay.
So there's a lot of admin calls that come in to us that are not going out over the air. So you're not hearing that we are still very, very busy.
Now just tell me people are not calling 911 to find out how to renew their driver's license.
Uh,
We hope not.
yeah, we hope not, but there are a lot of calls that come into 911 and they
Mhm.
will say, well, this is not an emergency, but I didn't know who else to call.
Okay, okay,
So that happens.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on top of processing all the admin calls, we are also processing warrants, protection orders, um, lots and lots of information for officers, deputies, the secretaries at the sheriff's office, the police department. They all need information from us, and they're all, calling us, and none of that's going out over the air. So
Mhm.
people don't realize that we are still very, very busy behind the scenes handling that. Controlled burns are coming into us. We're taking that information.
Okay.
So then on top of all that, we are also processing all the 911 calls that come in. Um, we could process, you know, easily 50 to 60 calls for service on a shift.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can be a single dispatcher
Mm-hmm.
that's handling all of that by
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So we are trying to make sure that we staff two on as a minimum at all times, but sometimes people get sick, vacations, that kind of thing. So
Sure.
Absolutely.
fortunately, we do have to do one at a time. But yeah, so you're processing all of that, 911s. You're trying to make sure that every responder like yourself, fire and rescue, are up to date on what's going on with every single call. Is that scene safe for fire and rescue?
Mm-hmm.
Is that scene safe for the officers? You're getting all of that information
Mm.
while they're all en route. You're relaying, like he said, you're getting the information in and you're relaying out as fast as possible to the fire and rescue, to the officers. This is what they're telling me. This is which way the suspect went. This is, how the scene is. Don't approach. We have this. So you're constantly changing and updating and logging all this information while all of it's going on.
Having said all that, you made me think about the helpful citizen with a scanner. So, what would you say to the helpful citizen with a scanner?
Mhm.
What would your message to them be? They're sitting there, maybe they know the location that's being talked about. Is there sort of a buffer there to where if you give location, you give location, it goes out over the scanner, right?
Mhm.
So um they know somebody. They're afraid it might be someone they know or they want to go and their natural reaction is to go help. What do you say to them?
Well, I would say definitely don't put yourself in any kind of danger.
Mhm.
You never know what kind of scene it is. You never
Mhm.
know what you're approaching. You never know exactly what's the information that we have
Mhm.
that might not be going over the scanner. We have encrypted channels that I might be giving information to officers
Okay.
that the public doesn't hear
Mhm.
or know about. So we
Okay.
definitely don't want anybody
Right.
in the private sector to put themselves in any kind of danger.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
It really is incredible. It's the center point, the focal point for all information flow. And other county services, 911, all the public safety information, it really is. It's impressive
It
what they
really
do every
is.
single day.
It's just kind of the centrality of all of those services to the community for safety.
Hmm.
Um, it is amazing.
Yep.
It
And
is
then
very
again, I think
amazing.
that point, that Don says with us answering the admin lines for the Glenwood Police Department, for the sheriff's office, um, a lot of those it's almost like a failover. It comes to us just
Mhm.
for other county services,
Mhm.
court system, stuff like that. So it's all of that. It really is. And it's impressive to see the individuals go from handling admin calls to 911 to dispatching, radio traffic and then handling incident, traffic. It really is. It's impressive. I was aware to a degree, but I didn't know entirely. And then when I came back, in 2023 to take over 911, just blown away
Yeah.
by what, these people are one asked to do, but then just seeing it in person. I like to make the comparison. I'm a bit of a visual, person of, if you've ever sat, in one of the faster cars that you maybe have ever sat in, and you're at the stoplight and you look over, maybe it was your mom or your dad, and they just punched it real quick, from this light to that light,
Uh-huh.
and you're in your seat,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you stop and you look around and you go, oh my goodness, what just happened?
Yeah.
Because that's how fast it can go,
Yeah.
from 0 to 100 and then back down, and you just kind of look around and go, oh my goodness, how did everybody do there? Are we good?
Right.
So it really is. It's impressive. It's incredible what they do.
Well, that you making that statement brings up a question about sometimes these calls can be pretty intense,
Absolutely.
and
Very much
especially
so.
if you're talking to someone who is very traumatized, and obviously you wouldn't be doing this job if you're not empathetic. So you have that empathy and instinct. What do you do to debrief after something that is because you can't get emotional until it's over.
Mhm.
I could see myself after it was over just having a letdown or letting all of that emotion overwhelm at that point when you knew you'd done everything in your job. But then you realize, wow, look what just happened. How do you handle that?
So another thing that the public isn't aware of, sometimes we don't have the minute yet to debrief, to take the moment. We might be going from this baby's not breathing, we're doing CPR, and then the very next call is there's a dog barking at my neighbors and they're yelling at you about the dog.
Mm,
And you have to balance that.
mm-hmm,
I just had an infant that wasn't breathing that we
mm-hmm,
did CPR
mm-hmm.
on, and all that adrenaline that's going through your body versus this next call where the caller is upset over a dog.
Yeah.
And you have to still be empathetic to both
Mm,
callers and take
mm-hmm,
care of both people, because for them, this is definitely an emergency with
mm-hmm,
the baby,
mm-hmm,
but for this person and the dog,
mm-hmm.
that's their emergency as well.
Sure.
So you try to be empathetic to both. Um, if we see our dispatchers, and this is something I feel like that Travis and I hopefully are very good at, is we see this in them and say, okay, you just took a awful call. Take a minute. We have a quiet room where you can just go sit down for a few minutes, 10 minutes. Go walk around, get some fresh air, touch grass, as they
Mm-hmm.
like to say.
Mm-hmm.
Just clear your mind, breathe,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's talk about it when you come back, if you want to talk about it now. If
Sure.
you want to talk about it later, Travis is always available. I'm always available.
Yeah.
We have EAP resources that they could utilize. We've had some very intense calls. We've had some large incidents where we do kind of debrief as a whole with
Mhm.
police, fire, rescue, dispatch, and we all get together with counseling and we talk about what did we hear, what did we see, what was the smells, what do we remember, how did we process this, what are we still dealing with. So we do have those as well if we have large scale incidents, which
Yeah,
help a lot.
sure. You know, that's very interesting. What were the smells? What did you see? How did you process it? Because if you don't, those become triggers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those trauma triggers. So
Yep.
that's awesome.
And I think some of
Yeah.
those things are unique, to the individual person. There are certain calls that you would think, or myself as the director, or Dawn as the lead, you would think, and it just didn't seem to really impact, the dispatcher at all. And then there are other ones where, again, you didn't even think much of it, and then that just seems to have
Mhm.
such an impact on that individual. And I think, as Dawn mentioned, is we've really tried to do our best to say, hey, you gotta go, and be as accommodating of that.
Mhm.
And one thing that I've noticed is not only, the county, we have the resources, obviously, that you
Mhm.
can call and talk, but again, giving kudos to the dispatchers. They really do a good job of coming together and having those conversations with one another. And I think not only, we are individuals, but we're a team, of people, and
Absolutely.
they can identify with one another. Maybe not the exact same incident, but maybe alike,
Mhm.
to where they're a great listening ear. And I have walked in and I've seen, crying and tears and, uh,
Mm.
hugging where it needed to be, just, and say, hey,
Exactly.
And it really is. It's incredible. It's impressive. They're wonderful people, and they do such not only for the community, but for one another too.
Sure. Yeah, and unfortunately, because of the size of the county and the size of the communities, there's going to be a lot of instances when you know who's on the other end of that phone line,
Mhm.
which brings another high element of emotion and
Absolutely.
care. But it brings an element of a deeper care. You personally know them.
Mm.
Not to say you don't care as deeply about every call that comes in. However, then it becomes personal.
We're human. They're all
Yes, we're
human.
human. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Another aspect that people don't realize is all of my responders, I know them. I
Mm,
know their wives. I
yes.
know their children. I know what their children do. They're in soccer, they're in baseball, they're
Mhm.
coaching their baseball little league teams and stuff like that. I know these officers and deputies and fire and rescue, and I'm sending them into danger.
Yes.
So I also
Yes.
know all of them as well.
Yeah.
And if I know that caller too, it makes it so very personal for you.
Yeah.
That's where I think it really is. Again, and so impressed that we're asking them to do all of these things, and their minds are not only processing call and radio traffic, but they're also thinking of that, and somehow they bury it, for that
Mm,
period of time, and it's just
yes.
again, it's incredible.
Yeah, that is amazing. I- and I can't imagine the training and this every situation is going to be different in some
Absolutely.
way.
Yep.
So you have to amass this experience through different trainings and different situations and um
It takes about 6 to 9 months to make a
okay.
dispatcher
Hmm.
Okay.
because we have to be so proficient in
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
different categories
Mhm.
and subjects. We
Mhm.
can't just concentrate on fire. We can't just concentrate on rescue calls,
Sure.
police incidents,
Mhm.
those kinds of things.
Mhm.
We have to be proficient in so many different
Mhm.
Yep.
categories.
Yep.
Right.
We offer emergency medical dispatch,
Hmm.
which, as Dawn was mentioning, CPR, medical instructions over the phone,
Mm.
all trained in that, and a complementary software to that is what Pro QA, and that is again sets of instructions that we can relay over the phone to really try, and really what that is doing is trying to shorten the timeline, for
Mhm.
to provide medical aid.
Sure.
Being a more rural county, volunteer EMS, time and distance, they absolutely play. So that is something that we do here to really try and help. And then the other disciplines, with law and fire, it's experience, time in the seat,
Mhm.
really navigating those calls, but then providing that stuff over the communications network there.
Mhm.
So all of our folks, Iowa System and NCIC trained. So all the information that if we do have some unsavory individuals out there that
Mhm.
require attention, we have systems there to go ahead and look those individuals up and provide as much information to officers. So all of that, and it is 6 to 9 months. It's not easy. We ask a lot. There are a lot of days where it's tough, and I think we have folks that come into the training program that maybe it just wasn't what they expected because they thought it was 911,
Mhm.
and I think they quickly realize, oh my goodness, this is a lot. But what we ask is that we're going to train, keep coming back tomorrow. Maybe today wasn't great, but we're going to provide constructive criticism of, hey, this is how we could potentially handle those situations, and just come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Be ready to go tomorrow.
Right.
To
So
expand
That's
on
great.
what he said is dispatch is the true first responder. We always like to say, police, fire, rescue are the first
Mhm.
responders,
Mhm.
but we are actually the true first responder because we are there on scene the second they contact us.
Mhm.
We are on scene giving instructions, giving CPR
Mhm.
instructions, how to birth a baby,
Mhm.
all of that. We are there giving those
Mhm.
instructions, bridging that gap in between the time that it takes even if they are a paid service, it
Mhm.
still takes them a minute to
Sure.
get to you. And we're right there with you,
Mhm.
talking you through it,
Mhm.
helping you get bleeding under control, helping
Mhm.
you with all of those instructions. So we are truly the very first responder.
it
Mhm.
really is that
That's true.
unwavering
Yeah.
voice in the dark. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you are the connection. You are the bridge
Hmm.
between the incident
Hmm.
and the help.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's amazing. Now I'm going to ask you both a question to answer individually, but what do you do personally for self-care, Travis? Serving Mills County and beyond, Ruby Realty is your trusted team for residential and commercial real estate, plus full service property management, local experts, honest guidance, and a commitment to getting you results. Ruby Realty, rooted here and working for you.
My motivation is my family. Um, I have 4 little girls, and um, they are everything to me. So these things we do for the people that we love is kind of my motto. And I think, even in the Peace app, it's kind of something that's been said over and over again. And I think it really does ring true. And
Would you read that acronym out full for people who don't know what that is, the PSAP?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, military background. I apologize. Public Safety Answering Point.
Okay.
Yep. So, 911 communications can be called a handful of different things. People say PSAP or ECC, and that's Emergency Communications Center. So,
Sure. Okay.
yep, yep. So my wellness, my self-care is them, is going home to them and basketball in the driveway.
Yeah.
Last night we did softball and ran wind sprints with my daughter to, for at soccer practice after
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
that to me is what I'm doing it for. So I really think that helps me not necessarily brain dump the day, but just go, whew, this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
This is, I not only am I, for emergency management and 911, and I have the best interests of Mills County and the citizens and the
Sure.
department, absolutely. But it's for them. That's
So,
what
yeah,
gets me through.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you tap into your joy. That's your self-care.
I love every part about it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, and
Thank you.
and
Appreciate that.
it's nice for the general public to know that you are a family man and that you have those motivations
Absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
So they know that this department is being run by people who are real,
Absolutely.
who live in the community, who love the community, who love their families, love their jobs, are
Yes.
good at their job. So it's really good for the general public to get a glimpse of that. So thank you so much
Absolutely.
for being so transparent.
I'd like to add also
Yeah.
that we are an award-winning
Oh,
comm center.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so they have award-winning
Yeah.
dispatchers taking care of them.
Award-winning
so
dispatchers.
proud of that.
Yes, I don't doubt that a bit because both of you are just like high level functioning here and so many balls, so much, as you said, opening up, multitasking.
Hmm.
That's talent, that's skill, that's knowledge, that's practice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Dawn, what do you do personally for self-care?
I do a few things. So I really truly feel like my coworkers in the comm center, my responders are truly my family. They're my second family. So laughing and joking and having fun in between calls
Yeah.
is my happiness and seeing everybody laugh. So making people laugh, I'm kind of a clown on that.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good.
making people laugh
Yeah.
is definitely my joy. Going home and exercising, getting out to exercise, talking with my first responders, talking through an incident with them, that helps me to kind of put it at ease. And then definitely I work every day so I can travel.
Oh,
Travel is
wonderful. Okay.
absolutely everything I want to do with my time and life.
Okay,
So
that's
that
wonderful. Yeah.
is,
It
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
There's so much out there. Please go
Mhm.
see it. It is
Yes.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that veterans have a special pass for like national parks. Do first responders get that special access to the national parks as well?
It depends on if that particular business or government sees us as a first responder.
Okay.
Some do,
Okay.
and some don't.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can let them know, hey, I'm a
Yeah.
911 dispatcher. Are
Okay.
we included in that first responder discount?
Okay.
Sometimes we are, and sometimes we are not.
Oh, well, that should be just a federal mandate.
I think that there are strides being made, I think, individually amongst the states, but then
Mhm.
also at the federal level, there is that constant pursuit of hey, 911, we are first responders,
You
we are
bet.
public safety, and really pushing for that. We are in full support of that. We think it's wonderful. Again, as Don said, the true first responders, it comes to us first. Absolutely.
Well, a good start is that this week is to honor this profession and this service. So, and that's nationwide, you said.
Nationwide,
So
absolutely.
that is a very good, that's a very good start to getting that momentum. How long
Absolutely.
is this, how long has this uh, telecommunications week been in effect? Do you know?
I think it's since it started in the early 80s, and I
Okay.
believe that was out in California. And if may have to check me a little bit, but I think it was an individual who worked with, in 911 communications, thought, you know what, let's do this. Let's celebrate kind of a week. And just since then, it just nationwide spread.
Wonderful.
Yep. And throughout the week, all kinds of activities,
Yeah.
go on, whether it's a dress up day or if it's, hey, let's do something fun within the PSAP or, community support, bringing stuff in and really just saying, hey, you guys are incredible. Here's sweet treats, sweet treats. We
Okay.
like dark
What
chocolate.
have you guys been doing this week as far as,
I
have you done some special things or
I think a lot of community support, amongst our first responders, we've had businesses, bring stuff in,
oh, good.
trying to do breakfast. If it's a coffee here, if it's, I walked in and, again, telling stories and kind of, as Dawn said, the joking stuff. I love it. I love all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping for a dress up day to where I walk in maybe and I see either Happy Gilmore, Adam Sandler day, something like that. I think that would be incredible. So I hope we got some of those things lined up. But really, it's just knowing that it's very difficult work and it requires a lot of us upstairs is trying to make a light of the blue sky. Of hey, let's in this moment, let's be this. Because in 3 seconds or 2 minutes or an hour, it could be a rainy day for us. So
Sure. So do you collaborate with surrounding counties as well? And you have times that you, all of the telecommunicators get together in the state?
I would love that and
Yeah.
support that
Yeah.
during Telecommunicator Week. I think it'd be great to have a trivia night or something like that,
Yeah.
to all kind of come together. So if Pot, Montgomery, Fremont, you guys are out there listening, we would love that. Call us.
Yeah.
But there is the individual conferences, the APCO NINA kind of stuff. That's actually coming up, I believe, is it
Yeah.
next week? And that's
20th through the 22nd.
yes, they
Okay.
offer a spring and a fall conference,
Good.
and that is really the time that the state of Iowa, every single PSAP tries to send a couple, of their folks,
Sure.
and we get together and a lot of training, during the day. Um, I need to talk to them about more comfy seats. Uh, but at night, the evenings, everybody kind of gets together and they share stories and they just get the opportunity to kind of kick back and network with one another. So those are really the offerings that we try to take advantage of throughout the
That's
state.
amazing.
Our efforts.
It's amazing. And these convention type things take place in Des Moines.
They do.
Okay.
They
Okay.
do. They
Fun.
do. Yep.
Fun. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today for Mills County
Absolutely.
Roots.
Yeah.
It's so nice to get a glimpse of what you do and to expand an appreciation for what you do. And it's so nice to be able to tell your story
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
really appreciate everything that you do. And thank you for your service to the community and for staying on top of everything. I know the changes come rapidly and you have to stay on top of all of that. Just know that you are very much appreciated, and I really look forward to getting this out for the public to view because you're both just dynamic and wonderful, and I'm just so excited that you let me come in and have this time with you today.
Absolutely.
Thank
We
you
love
so
this.
much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you for joining us again on Mills County Roots, and we'll see you next time. We are here with Travis Hitchcock and Dawn Christensen, and they are your top level first responders and managers of general emergencies here in Mills County.